At just 22 years old, a young man manages to give American law enforcement sleepless nights. He's not some hardened professional criminal, but his driving skills are so unreal that no technology seems capable of catching him. One daring robbery after another, he escapes clean, leaving the police wondering why they keep failing to bring him in. So who is this guy? And why do the authorities keep coming up short every single time? Let's dive into the 2017 Hollywood blockbuster Baby Driver. The movie opens outside a bank in Atlanta where a car pulls up with 4 robbers inside. Baby, along with his crew, Griff, Buddy, and Darling. Once the car stops, Griff, Buddy, and Darling put on their masks, grab their guns, and head straight into the bank to carry out the heist. But Baby doesn't go in. He stays behind in the driver's seat, turns up the music, slips on his headphones, and waits for the job to unfold. Completely in his own world, he vibes to the beat while the robbery happens inside. Moments later, the bank alarm blares, and the 3 robbers sprint back with the cash. They jump into the car without wasting a second, and that's when Baby works his magic. With precision, speed, and jaw-dropping control, he hits the gas and launches into a getaway that proves exactly why no one can catch him. Baby isn't just a good driver, he's operating on a whole different level. His real job is to get the crew out safely after a robbery, slipping past the police before they even know what hit them. Sitting beside Griff, you can see the nerves kick in as Baby starts driving like a man possessed, but for Baby, this is just another day at the office. The way he handles the wheel, it's almost like he's on a playground instead of in the middle of a high-stakes chase. He weaves through traffic with insane precision, causing police cruisers to trip over their own pursuit. Soon, squad cars and even a helicopter join the chase. But Baby doesn't flinch. He steers into a busy stretch of road where 2 identical red cars are already driving side by side. Calm and calculated, he slides his car perfectly between them. When all 3 vehicles enter a tunnel together, Baby subtly shifts position, allowing one of the red cars to take the center spot. As they burst out of the tunnel, the helicopter locks onto the wrong vehicle, chasing the decoy, while Baby casually slips away down a side street. The crew then pulls into a garage, ditches the red car, and switches to another vehicle to erase their trail. A little later, as if nothing happened, Baby is seen walking down the street with his headphones on, lost in his music, stopping at a cafe for a cup of coffee, while the rest of the crew has already made it back to their hideout. When the crew returns to their hideout, their boss, Doc, hands out coffee and splits the robbery money evenly among the team. Doc is the mastermind behind the operation, calm and calculated, always in control. Still, there's something about Baby that makes everyone curious. He carries himself differently from the rest. Griff, in particular, is irritated by him because Baby barely talks to anyone and constantly keeps his earbuds in, lost in his music. When Griff complains, Doc shuts it down immediately, making it clear that Baby does exactly what he's hired to do, drive, and that's all that matters. What he listens to or how he acts isn't anyone's concern. Trying to provoke a reaction, Griff suddenly grabs at Baby's sunglasses and headphones, but Baby remains silent and doesn't push back. That only makes Griff mock him more, even asking if there's something wrong with his head, until the other crew members step in and tell Griff to back off. Later, as they ride the elevator down, Buddy and Darling get noticeably close, making it clear they're a couple who joined the crew together. In the parking garage, Baby meets Doc again, and it's revealed that Doc keeps a large cut of the stolen money for himself before handing Baby a smaller share, reminding him exactly where he stands in the operation. Doc makes it clear to Baby that just one more job will settle their debt once and for all. After that, he'll be free to walk away and live a normal life. To seal the deal, Doc gives him a new phone and a pair of driving gloves, promising he'll call soon with the next assignment. It's obvious there's some old score between them, something from Baby's past that's forced him into this arrangement, though the full story hasn't come out yet. Later, Baby returns home and hides his stack of cash beneath a loose floorboard in a secret stash. There, we meet his foster father, Joseph, who is deaf and communicates through sign language. When news of the bank robbery flashes across the TV, Joseph immediately senses that Baby is involved and tries to warn him that this criminal path won't end well. Baby reassures him that there's only one job left, and then he's done for good. But Joseph clearly isn't convinced. That night, after Joseph falls asleep, we see another side of Baby. He has a strange but creative hobby. He secretly records bits of conversations during the heists, then later mixes those snippets with music to create original tracks, storing the finished recordings on cassettes inside a briefcase. Among them is a special recording of his mother's voice, revealing a deeply personal connection that music holds in his life. The story then shifts into a flashback revealing Baby's childhood. His mother was a singer who performed on TV and radio, and for his birthday she once gave him an iPod, sparking his lifelong connection to music. But his parents' relationship was far from happy. Their home was filled with constant arguments. One day, while driving and fighting yet again, things spiraled out of control. In the middle of the heated argument, they lost focus, and their car slammed into a truck ahead of them. The crash was devastating. Both of Baby's parents were killed. Miraculously, Baby survived, but the violent impact left him with severe tinnitus, a constant ringing in his ears that never goes away. To drown out that relentless noise, he listens to music almost all the time, using it as both escape and therapy. After reliving those painful memories, Baby heads out to a diner called Beau's Diner, where he sits alone, headphones in, lost in a song. That's when Deborah, a waitress with a love for music, walks in singing. The tune instantly catches Baby's attention, and he quickly records it. He strikes up a conversation, compliments her voice, and the two begin talking about their dreams, bonding over their shared desire to escape their current lives and chase something bigger. Around that time, Baby gets a call from Doc but declines it without answering. On his way home, he brings along a cassette of the song Deborah was singing, still caught up in the moment they shared. Back at the apartment, he plays music loudly and starts dancing, while Joseph, unable to hear, places his hand on the speaker to feel the vibration of the beat and nods along with a smile. The mood shifts when Doc calls again, telling Baby there's a new robbery lined up and he needs to be ready that night. This will be the final job. Soon after, we see Doc assemble a new crew for the heist. As Doc lays out the plan, Baby sits there with his earbuds in like always. One of the crew members grows suspicious and complains that Baby isn't paying attention. When questioned, Baby calmly repeats every detail of the plan word for word. Even with music playing, he had been watching Doc's lips the entire time, reading everything perfectly. Doc backs him up, explaining that he's known Baby since he was young and that he's one of the best drivers around. In fact, Baby's obsession with cars started early. So much so that as a kid he once stole one of Doc's expensive cars just to take it for a spin, only to crash it, setting off the chain of events that eventually tied him to Doc in the first place. Doc never turned Baby over to the police after the crash because he was stunned by the kid's raw driving talent, but he didn't let him off the hook either. Instead, he made Baby work off the debt for wrecking that expensive car, which is why Baby has been driving getaway jobs ever since to settle the score. That's the deal between them. The next morning, the crew heads out to a designated spot to hijack a truck loaded with cash. As they trail the armored vehicle, a suspicious bystander nearby keeps eyeing them, clearly sensing something isn't right. As usual, Baby stays in the driver's seat while the others jump out, attack the guards, and grab the money. But when Baby sees one of the guards lying dead, it hits him hard. He may be part of the crew, but he's not built for bloodshed. Things escalate fast when that same suspicious man suddenly rams his car into theirs and even opens fire, chasing them down the road. Baby taps into his elite driving skills to try to shake him, and at one point the man's car ends up directly in front of them, giving Bats a clear shot. Just before Bats can pull the trigger, Baby swerves onto another road, sparing the man's life. The chaos doesn't stop there. They get stuck in traffic and decide to carjack a vehicle right in front of everyone. But as soon as they force the driver out, they realize there's a small child sitting inside the car, adding another layer of tension to an already spiraling getaway. Baby carefully returns the child to his mother, making sure the kid is safe. But in the middle of the chaos, the crew realizes one of them accidentally left a gun in their previous car. That sends Bats into a rage. They head back to a garage where Bats confronts Baby, accusing him of deliberately sparing the man who had chased them. Baby denies it, but Bats doesn't buy a word. Later, while the stolen money is being divided up, Baby steps out to grab coffee for everyone. When he returns, the mood has shifted. Bats has been killed, supposedly because he left the gun behind during the robbery. Doc keeps the full payout for himself this time and hands Baby only a small cut, telling him their debt is finally settled. As Baby is about to leave, he notices blood on a nearby car. Doc calmly explains that Bat's body is inside and that the car will be disposed of before anyone finds it. Disturbed but desperate to move on, Baby destroys the music tape tied to the job, symbolically cutting himself off from that chapter of his life. Quietly relieved, he believes he's finally free. Before leaving, he tosses the phone Doc gave him into the car as well, severing that last connection. Baby then heads back to the diner to see Deborah. She's surprised to learn that Baby is actually his real name, and after her shift ends, the two go out together, riding around, listening to music, and growing closer. By the time he returns home, Baby looks genuinely happy. For the first time, it feels like he might have a real shot at a clean start. Baby opens up to Joseph about Deborah and promises that he's done with crime for good, determined to earn money the right way. Joseph advises him to find an honest job, so Baby takes work as a pizza delivery driver, saving up cash so he can take Deborah out properly. Soon enough, the two go on a date at an upscale restaurant and have a great time until the mood suddenly shifts. A waiter informs them that their bill has already been paid by someone else. Baby is stunned when he realizes it was Doc who covered the check, clearly sending a message. Understanding that Doc wants his attention, Baby leaves Deborah at the table and goes to meet him. There, Doc pressures him to join one last robbery crew. Baby refuses at first, but Doc makes it clear this isn't optional, threatening to break his legs or even harm the woman he loves if he doesn't cooperate. Faced with that kind of intimidation, Baby sees he has no real choice and reluctantly agrees. The decision crushes him. On the way home, Deborah senses something is wrong and asks him again and again what's bothering him, but Baby stays silent, carrying the weight of it alone. Baby quietly tells Deborah that she's the best thing that's ever happened to him, and she senses the weight he's carrying, choosing not to push him for answers. The next morning, Doc takes him to a post office, explaining that most people don't think twice about post offices anymore, even though many still store cash and valuables in safe deposit boxes there. Doc orders Baby to go inside and scout the place, count the customers and staff, note at the number and placement of security cameras, and check whether the security guards are armed. To avoid suspicion, Doc sends along a young relative with Baby, so it looks innocent. Inside, Baby is visibly nervous and nearly fumbles the task, but the kid proves sharp and observant, carefully taking in every detail. After gathering the intel, they casually buy some stamps and postcards before leaving, even striking up friendly small talk with the cashier, who gives the child a piece of candy. Once outside, Doc tells Baby to be ready that night and drops him off. Later, at the meeting, the full crew, Buddy, Bats, Darling, and the others, are assembled as Doc lays out the robbery plan. He hands each of them a pair of specialized sunglasses designed to prevent facial recognition on security cameras, making it clear this job needs to go flawlessly. At this point, Doc tells the crew they need new weapons and sends them to meet an arms dealer to gear up for the job. But when they arrive, things go sideways. The dealers try to pass off fake guns, and Bats completely loses it. He erupts in fury and opens fire, sparking a brutal shootout that leaves the dealers dead. As if that chaos weren't enough, on the way back, Bats plants a bomb and blows up the garage to cover their tracks. He's reckless, volatile, and spiraling. Then, against Baby's wishes, the crew forces a stop at the diner where Deborah works. Baby is terrified she'll get dragged into this mess, but there's no stopping it. Deborah approaches their table to take their order, and Baby pretends not to know her, acting like she's a stranger. The rejection visibly hurts her, and she struggles to keep it together. Sensing the tension, Bats grows suspicious and even raises his gun toward Deborah, but Baby quickly intervenes and diffuses the situation. Before leaving, Baby slips a note in with the bill telling her to meet him at 2 a.m. Later, when the crew returns, Doc is furious, because the men Bats killed during the weapons deal weren't just dealers, they were undercover police. Bats lies, claiming the police fired first, and Doc considers shutting the whole operation down, but the rest of the crew pushes to keep the job alive. Doc turns to Baby for his opinion, and Baby says that since they've already set things in motion, they should finish it. Later that night, while everyone's asleep in the warehouse, Baby quietly tries to slip out with the car to meet Deborah. Before he can leave, Buddy steps in front of him and asks where he's going. Bats soon joins them, and although Baby casually says he's just heading out for coffee, they don't buy it. To defend himself, Baby plays one of the audio recordings he secretly made, clips of the crew's planning conversations mixed into music. Instead of clearing his name, it backfires. Bats becomes convinced Baby might be a police informant who's been recording them as evidence. Baby insists he only uses the recordings to create music, but no one believes him. They knock him out, and when he regains consciousness, he finds that they've ransacked his apartment and brought back all his tapes. The crew plays through them and realizes he really has been turning their conversations into songs. But when Bats hears Deborah's voice on one of the cassettes, he explodes, because at the diner, Baby pretended he didn't even know her. Furious, Doc declares he'll replace Baby with another driver for the job. Desperate, Baby pleads his case and convinces Doc to give him one last chance, promising he'll focus and get them through the mission cleanly. When the robbery begins, Buddy and Darling enter through the front of the post office while Baby and Bats move toward the back. Inside, Baby spots the same friendly cashier from the day before and, remembering their brief connection, subtly signals for her to leave. She senses something is wrong and quickly alerts the police. As the crew exits with the cash, police units arrive, and Bats immediately opens fire, killing officers without hesitation. Furious and shaken, Baby is forced at gunpoint to drive, but something in him finally snaps. In a split-second decision, he swerves the car onto a construction path behind a truck loaded with steel rods. The sudden impact sends a rod crashing through the windshield and straight into Bat's, killing him instantly. Baby bolts from the scene, running into a shopping mall to change clothes and blend in. When police close in, he grabs a nearby vehicle and speeds off, only to collide again with Buddy and Darling's truck as chaos erupts. Surrounded by sirens, Darling sprays bullets at the officers but is fatally shot in the crossfire. Watching her die pushes Buddy over the edge. He blames Baby for everything and vows revenge. Amid the confusion, Baby manages to escape by stealing an elderly woman's car and heads home, only to find his apartment completely trashed, his world unraveling around him. When Baby gets home, he finds Joseph unconscious on the floor and the apartment torn apart, making it clear that Doc's men have already been there. Realizing time is running out, Baby gives Joseph all the cash he's saved and takes him to a safe care facility. Before leaving, he records a message on an iPod for Joseph, knowing that since Joseph can't speak, the recording might help others understand what's happened and come to his aid. Baby then heads straight to the diner to find Deborah, but Buddy is already there, waiting with a gun. Just as Buddy is about to shoot him, a police officer walks in, creating a split-second distraction. Baby fires at Buddy and escapes with Deborah. Desperate, they go to Doc for help. At first, Doc refuses, especially after discovering the recordings Baby made. But when he sees how deeply Baby and Deborah care about each other, something shifts. Doc admits he once loved someone too, and he understands what they're fighting for. He gives Baby cash and tells them to run, to cross the border and disappear. But as they step out of the elevator, they're confronted by armed members of the dealer crew, looking for revenge for their fallen bosses. Doc tells Baby and Deborah to get out while he holds them off, and a fierce shootout erupts. In the chaos, several bullets hit Doc, leaving him gravely wounded as the escape plan spirals into one final violent showdown. At that moment, Buddy shows up in a stolen police car and ruthlessly runs Doc down, killing him. Baby tries to block Buddy's vehicle with another car, but after a violent collision, Buddy forces Baby's car off the structure. Buddy steps out with his gun drawn, blaming Baby for Darling's death and swearing to take away the thing Baby loves most. In a brutal act of revenge, he fires shots close to both sides of Baby's head, permanently damaging his hearing so he may never fully enjoy music again. Just as Buddy turns his weapon toward Deborah, she strikes his arm with a metal rod, knocking the gun loose. The weapon skids toward Baby, who grabs it and shoots Buddy in the leg. Buddy loses his balance, falls, and is consumed in the explosion of his own wrecked car. The blast and gunfire leave Baby disoriented, his hearing muffled and distorted, and he collapses unconscious. When he wakes up, he's in a car with Deborah driving, his mother's recorded song playing softly. Struggling to hear, he places his hand on the speaker to feel the vibration of the music. But their brief moment of escape ends quickly as police units surround them from all sides. Seeing no way out, Baby realizes the run is over. Realizing there's no real way to outrun the police, and that continuing to flee would only put Deborah in greater danger, Baby makes the hardest choice of his life. He says goodbye to her, pushes her out of harm's way, and surrenders to the authorities. The story then shifts to the courtroom, where Deborah, the kind cashier from the post office, and Joseph all testify on Baby's behalf, describing him as a fundamentally good person who helped others despite his mistakes. Taking everything into account, the judge sentences him to 5 years in prison. While incarcerated, Baby even receives treatment for his damaged hearing. After serving his full sentence, he finally walks out a free man, and waiting for him outside, just as promised, is Deborah, sitting in a beautiful car, ready to start over. With that hopeful reunion, Baby Driver comes to an emotional and satisfying close.